The meeting of the Medford School Committee will now come to order. The secretary will call the roll.
Here. Mr. Benedetto. Ms. Gretz. Here. Ms. Mostone. Here. Ms. Gary present. Ms. Anderson. Here.
Here, 6 present, 1 absent. All please rise and salute our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the minutes of October 17, 2016. Motion for approval on the floor, seconded by Ms. Cunyo. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Approval of bills, transfer of funds. Second. Motion for approval on the floor, seconded by Ms. Vanderklude. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Approval of payrolls. Motion for approval by Mr. Scarry, seconded by Ms. Vanderklude. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Report of the Secretary. Report of committees. Committee of the Whole, Capital Plan Minutes. Ms. Vanderklude, would you like to present?
Took place on October 24th and was called to order by myself at 6:45. Present were Erin De Benedetto, Kathy Kretz, Mia Mastone, Robert Scurry, and myself, 5 school committee members. Present, 2 absent. Also present was Superintendent Belson, Headmaster Perella, Vocational Principal Director Heidi Riccio, Director of Buildings and Grounds John McLaughlin, and Parent Cheryl Rodriguez. After saluting the flag, and after the purpose of the meeting was stated, which was to review the high school vocational school elements of the building of the proposed capital plan and to do a selected tour of the facility, I called on Superintendent Belson for an overview of the evening's meeting. The superintendent handed out additional copies of the capital plan and a prepared document proposal from the vocational school, which is attached to this report. The superintendent stated that it would not be possible to view the entire high school or vocational school in one evening, but that the headmaster and vocational principal, along with Director McLaughlin, would identify priority sites for viewing. The topic of overall technology upgrades would be referred to a subsequent session, since this was a major topic with system-wide implications. Major systems like the roof and HVAC must be part of our overall planning as well. We have done a roof study and will have a recommendation in the near future. The superintendent then explained that capital planning must be focused on major projects. General maintenance upgrades, for the most part, belong in an enhanced operational budget. Also, that school system capital needs would be part of a larger citywide initiative. Further, it is important that we view capital plan issues not only as upgrades to facilities, but also as part of a long-term vision for the development of school system capacity and educational opportunities. He went on to say, as we have recaptured certain out-of-district payments, we must reinvest into our programs in a strategic manner and anticipate the future, not just to upgrade the present facility bit by bit. Committee members recognize the capital mission, but wanted the administration's plan for greater maintenance investment going forward. The committee then began a tour of selected sites led by headmaster and vocational principal director and buildings and grounds director. First, we went to the library. Dr. Perella focused on the ways the library has been altered from its original design over the past 45 years. He noted that natural lighting has been lost to the addition of several office spaces, and also that the general condition of the library has deteriorated. It would be his plan to redesign the library into an open space media center reflecting upon the advance of technology. The library would flow into the courtyard and be a multi-purpose epicenter for students and faculty exploration and utilization. He explained that the initial design and planning had already begun as a result of the XQ project, Academy of the Possible. The tour of the library ended with an agreement to formalize the design by utilizing the expertise of an architect engineer. The next tour moved to the vocational school. Director Riccio explained that her number 1 priority was the relocation of the culinary arts and hospitality program to an accessible location for the general public. The director reviewed the draft floor plan and explained how the current programs would be moved. Medford will pursue a state capital skills grant, but it will require matching funds for construction. This would include gas and water lines, electricity, flooring, lighting, doors, ADA accessibility. This grant is now being released by the Commonwealth with applications due in December. The total revamp of the vocational school beyond the culinary arts hospitality project will involve the development of an academy model that groups the various offerings into like clusters. Long-term development should be pursued in conjunction with MSBA to the extent possible under their priorities and guidelines. The committee then reconvened in the conference room to recap their tour. The superintendent indicated that it will be necessary to consider the relocation of certain programs such as early childhood and office space to free up areas for program development. The committee will await follow-up materials to continue its capital planning for the complex. The meeting was adjourned at 8:45 p.m. And if I could just add, the tour and the vision that we were presented with at the meeting was truly inspirational and very exciting. And you take the step back and you realize you're not just looking at, the smaller pieces of maintenance, which of course are extremely necessary, but kind of a bigger vision and a plan into the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Van de Kloot. Ms. Cunyo, you blinking?
No.
Except for the phone, place on file.
So motion to receive this report and place on file and keep it with the rest of the capital plans that we've looked at other schools. On the motion for approval, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Community participation? None, Mr. Superintendent? Suspension of the rules? There's a motion request for suspension of the rules by Ms. Kretz, seconded by Mr. Scarry. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Suspension is granted. Ms. Kretz, you'd like to provide an update on a report item.
Yes, I'd like to provide an update on
Kathy is yeah.
Oh,
there we go.
am I? Oh,
No, she's
can
good.
you hear me?
Now you're
okay,
better.
sorry, I was blocking it. Yeah, so I'm going to provide an update on the crossing guide on the corner of Fulton Street and Fellsway and Park and the Fellsway. The road is a state road, so we have to contact the state and the DCR office. What I've done since our last meeting is I've attended the police neighborhood meeting in my neighborhood, along with Mayor and John Falco and a lot of the other community. And another person there was Cheryl Rodriguez. And the community, parents, police, and students expressed the need for a crossing guard. So I reached out to State Pat Jalen's office and spoke to Matt Hartman, and he let me know that the DCR was in touch. The DCR is going to send out some rangers this week to monitor the crosswalks at Park Street and Fellsway. Park Street and Fellsway and Fulton Street and Fellsway to determine if they can put crossing guards there. Matt will stay in touch with the DCR on the progress and the findings. Additionally, they made a request with the engineering department at the DCR to ask them if they can change the timing on the pedestrian crosswalk. They don't know the outcome of this request, but they will continue to stay in touch with the DCR to see if there's anything they can do to improve the Fellsway crossing and make it safer for all residents in the neighborhood. Additionally, I received a call from State Rep. Paul Donato's office, and he let me know that his folks have also been in touch with the DCR and State Senator Jalen's office, and, they're both on target. They've both been in touch, and, we're just waiting. I guess the funds are limited, and they're going to do an evaluation. Another concern that Ms. Rodriguez brought up was the timing of the evaluation that they're doing is this week, and there are 2 days with no school. I did reach back to them and let them know that, would they possibly be able to do another evaluation next week? That request was put in. We're not too sure if that's something that they can do, but we did ask if they can send the rangers out there next week and do another evaluation of that section. So that was the update. I'll continue to monitor this with both offices and provide any new updates that I get. And Cheryl, did you want to say anything? Mm-hmm.
Name and address, please.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Rodriguez. I live at 281 Park Street. Thank you for following up on that with the DCR. I just spoke to Matt myself this morning and expressed my concerns that the evaluation is happening when there are 2 no school days. It's also happening with the Veterans Day holiday, so the commuters will probably be less likely to be crossing the street. It's also mid-November. It's cold, and the crossing guards at our school know that a lot more cars are driven to school during these months because it is cold. And many families that I have spoken to, and myself included, tend to not walk. What was I going to say? I just lost my train of thought, just dropped it. They tend to not cross that street because it is dangerous. My daughter's best friend lives on the other side of that street, and I wouldn't walk her if my car broke down. I wouldn't walk across that street because it's unsafe. So I'm not sure that an evaluation to determine if there is a high volume of pedestrians would really yield the appropriate action, because there are less pedestrians because they don't feel safe crossing there. Even when we had our Walking Wednesdays, they made sure that they walked down to the lights, but they had to hustle at that Fulton and Fellsway because the light is timed at 14 seconds. It's a 5-lane road. So that's pretty impossible. I know that John Falco had mentioned at the school committee meeting that he himself has to pick up the pace in order to make it across the street during that 14-second interval. So I'm hopeful that Matt had suggested perhaps this body could write a letter to send to them with our concerns, that they are valid, that there will be less pedestrians, that it is a vacation week, and that people are avoiding the road because it is less safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I also just want to comment that we've been in touch with Commissioner Roy of the DCR as well in this matter. We heard the calls from the community meeting, as well as the city council, the city school committee actually mentioned it, I think, a few weeks ago, Mr. Superintendent.
Yes.
And it's on a report request due as well. So we have already voted to send a letter to the DCR and to pursue it through our state delegation. So that is taking place, and we will continue to monitor it. Mr. Scarry.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to applaud my colleague Kathy Kretz for her diligence. This is a problem that we've had with DCR for over 2 years, and finally we're making some headway, and hopefully we can come to a conclusion that parents and students are happy with. I hope they will see the need that is there and get somebody there as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Cunyo.
Yes, I know that you just mentioned too that we have the letter that we were going to send out, and I just want to make sure that when we send out the letter that we also amendment with the consideration that even though the rangers are coming out to test and and to evaluate what's going on, that it would make sense that they would do it like during the school time while there are children crossing and adults crossing, and that there's full-fledged type of traffic going on, not on a holiday and not on a professional day.
Mr. Superintendent.
So I find it more effective sometimes to talk directly to the people because you can cover the subject. The letter is a paragraph or two. And one of the things that did take place in the last week or so, which I think is encouraging, is the fact that the revenue from the state has gone up. And because the revenue's gone up, I'm sure a lot of the agencies were sitting there saying, I can't spend any money because I'm going to get cut.
Or higher.
I can't hire anybody. So if revenue continues to be solid at the state, if we can see another bump, I suspect that maybe something like DCR might say, well, okay, I can take this chance. But a lot of these agencies are concerned that, they hire and then all of a sudden, or they've been told not to hire. And what happens is that they are in a situation where they're going to then scramble for money. So as the fiscal situation stabilizes, the governor has pulled back in his request to start 9C cuts. The legislature asked him to hold back on that request. The revenue projections for this month are a lot stronger. In fact, they're meeting their targets right now. They're a few dollars under, but they expect another rush in this next little while. So that's all encouraging because that's in the background of why an agency will hire or not hire.
Well, they were in a freeze pattern.
They were in a freeze pattern. So that's probably part of the answer. So hopefully we hit it at the right time. We say, look, you're stable. This is something that's necessary.
Can we mark Mr. Benedetto in attendance, please? Mr. Secretary? Mr. Benedetto.
Thank you very much. I apologize for being late. Just to follow up with the phone calls, what I find that really helps, sorry, that's lint, that I do the phone call and I do a follow-up email so there's a paper trail, because I feel like once you really put it in paper, that they have a trail, like they've requested this 20 times. Now, I know we've talked about this in years past. I was a little late coming in tonight. So if we can say consistently for the last 3 years, our community has requested this, and we have these emails to prove it, or this paper trail to prove it, that they'll take it serious. Like it's like the little pest that keeps poking you until you do what they want them to do. So I would like to see a paper trail with this.
Okay.
Also, as a comment too, on the requested reports, if we could go back to adding the dates requested on that, that would be helpful, because we were doing that for a while, and then, that would be helpful for me too, and for our committee as well. So, I appreciate the phone calls, Mr. Belson, and I know that that personal touch really comes with a lot of clout from you, but I think the follow-up email sends a little bit like, we're documenting, pay attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's a motion just to follow up on the letter.
Okay.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Motion to revert to the regular order of business. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Reports of superintendent. Report on Italian scholarship winners. This evening we have Ms. DiCarlo, the Director of Foreign Language, with us. She would like to provide details on 2 scholarships that were recently awarded to Medford High School students. Ms. DiCarlo.
Good evening. Rita
Good evening.
DiCarlo, Foreign Language Director. Recently, 2 Medford High School students from AP Italian class each received a $1,000 scholarship from an Italian organization known as Federazione Associazioni Abruzzesi USA, or for short FAA USA. The scholarships were made possible by the generosity of Joe Pace in memory of his mother. The 2 students here who are here tonight are Joshua Crespo and Lina Zian. They were selected to receive the scholarships based on their grades and an essay that they each wrote on how Italian has impacted their lives. The awards were given at a gala celebration at Filippo's Restaurant at the North End of Boston. The 2 students were accompanied to the festa by family members and Italian teachers from Medford High School, including myself, Ms. Nicole Chalifo, and Ms. Bianca Hoffman, who are also here tonight. That evening, first Joshua and then Lina impressed about 150 guests at Filippo's Restaurant with their speeches in Italian. This was evident by the enthusiastic applauses they each received, especially when each student made reference to a particular Italian soccer team by the name of Juventus. We at Medford High School are very proud of Lina and Joshua, and I would be amiss if I didn't mention my appreciation for the level of instructions that these students received in Italian before they got to the AP level. 2 of these teachers are here tonight in support of the students. They are Ms. Nicole Chalifo, as I mentioned before, who was Lina's teacher last year, and Ms. Bianca Hoffman, who was Joshua's teacher last year. These 2 teachers are a sample of teachers the type of teachers that we have in our department and in our schools who are very dedicated to their students. Just their presence here tonight is a testament to that. They're here to support their students. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Carlo. If the teachers that are present this evening, as well as the students, could step forward, we'd like to present these awards. The Medford Public Schools is proud to recognize Lina Zian for her achievement in the study of Italian and recipient of FAA USA Scholarship 2016. Congratulations. Thank you. And the Medford Public Schools is proud to recognize Joshua Crespo for the achievement in the study of Italian as well. Joshua, congratulations. Would either of you like to say a few words, maybe in Italian? Lina, would you like to say a few words in possibly in Italian and English? Either one.
Okay. I'll say in English first. Thanks a lot for the award. I really do like Italian. It's one of my favorite subjects in school, and it's one of the subjects where I'm really motivated to go in and learn, and also to learn outside of school. So, grazie mille. Voglio ringraziare le mie professoresse. Grazie.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Would you like to say anything? Either of you? No. You sure? Great job. They're a reflection on your teaching. So wonderful job, all of you. Mr. Thank you. Oh, Erin. Anne Marie. Anne Marie. Chow? Motion to receive the report and place on file. Mr. Scarry, seconded by Mr. Benedetto. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Financial report.
So, Madam Chairperson, Madam Mayor, members of the committee, made an appearance tonight of our new Director of Finance Administration, Christine Patterson.
Hello, Ms.
Thank
Patterson.
you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the community and school committee. Included in your packet is the financial report as of November 2nd. I'm happy to answer any specific questions regarding it. As such, I would just like to highlight some areas with regard to the transition between the prior Director of Finance and myself. That was a smooth transition. As we go forward and review the budget, it is notable to identify that there were certain areas and sub-accounts within our budget process that are more reflective of the DESI chart of accounts and reporting that's required at the state level. And it is indicated in the overall appropriation and budget line items. So although there may be some areas that look amiss, we are reviewing each of these and are working to contain those. It's also notable to indicate that the new fax online payment plan has been quite a success with its first year implementation, including collections of $1.4 million estimated for fiscal year 2017. Additionally, one of the categories that is always an area to monitor and watch are the utilities, energy consumption. The winter heating has not yet begun. The invoices have not started for the cooler temperatures, but we will be monitoring and watching those accounts very closely in the upcoming months to indicate if there are any areas for savings and/or liquidation among certain accounts.
Very good. Are there any questions from the committee? Mr. Scarry?
Through you to Ms. Patterson. It's a great report. Usually it's pages, but it's good. And one other thing, Ms. Patterson, I recently had the opportunity to attend open house at the high school, and a few of our student entrepreneurial groups had a problem. Parents wanted to buy merchandise and et cetera with a credit card, and they were unable to take credit cards. Is there any way we can look into the possibility of trying to get the vocational school and the high school kids to be able to take credit cards if somebody wants to purchase, you know, a souvenir or their T-shirts, what have you, in the school, in the store, the school store?
I'm a strong advocate for all online services, payments as well. That is something that has been requested and addressed through our partnership at City Hall. So
Okay,
we are
good.
working on that.
Great, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. You're welcome. Mr. Benedetto?
Thank you. Thank you for your first report. Great job. I appreciate it very much. I just have a question. The $1.4 million that we brought in through the new tracking system and new payment programs?
Yes.
Is there an increase in revenue because we're getting more money in? Are we getting more money in because we're using the system? It's easier to collect, and is this different from last year's amount?
Yes, I would say that this is more of the accurate tracking of it, not so much overall increased revenue, but it's much more contained and ease of payment plans. So it's much easier to reach out to families if there's a concern or if there's a delinquency. We're able to track that and move on that more quickly.
Okay, great. And my second question is more towards the superintendent, and you're new, so you might not realize this, but I believe last year we had a motion that the community schools budget would be presented to us on a quarterly basis and at the same time as this financial report.
This is monthly.
So
Yeah,
this
so-
is the
Mr.
monthly.
Superintendent.
This is a monthly report. As you know, we've had a lot of transition, so Christine has been on board for a short period of time. And there's new people at City Hall, and there's new, people in other roles. So the key thing for us is to get all that stuff together, but you'll have one certainly very soon
Would
They're
you
just, they're
add-
putting it together,
Would you add that to the requested
Yeah.
reports?
Yeah.
And,
Well, that's one of those things that we...
because we haven't had one since last year.
Yeah,
And
you
I
will get the outside
understand the
revenue things.
transition.
They're working on that now, but, you know, she's trying to get her feet on the ground with so many other pieces.
Yeah,
Okay.
And
just
from-
so we don't forget.
And from the city side, the new CEO is also closing the books on June 30th. So until she physically hits the button to close, it's hard to get the carryover. Where the community schools is a carryover account.
Right.
It's a revolving.
Yes.
So
Everything
once
sort
that
of rolls
happens-
over where
Do
we're
you have
still...
an idea when we'd see?
I would say sometime in December, we'll start to see this
Okay.
stuff, and then we'll do it regularly.
Thank you very much.
If I
That's all.
could,
I
would
just didn't
guess
want to forget.
This month it should happen.
All right, thank you very much. That's great news, and
Thank you, Christie. Paulette, did you have a question on this?
No, not at this time.
Motion
you.
to accept the file.
Motion to accept the report and place on file, seconded by Ms. Cunyo. All those in favor? All those opposed? Report is placed on file. Report on Professional Development Day. Mr. Superintendent.
So we'll call upon our deputy superintendent to provide this report.
I'm actually going to call on our team. This was very much a team effort. Diane Caldwell and Rocco Grover Silvestri. As all of you know, our full day of mandated professional development is tomorrow. And again, it's for teachers and paraprofessionals. There is no school for students tomorrow, and all teachers will report to Medford High School for their activities, and the paraprofessionals will be at the McGlynn Middle School. This year's program represents a collaborative effort between administrators and faculty. The new teachers' contract called for the establishment of a professional development committee that was comprised of 6 educators, 6 teachers, and 6 administrators. And that team has been hard at work since this spring. The committee's mission in the contract is to advise central administration on what teachers would like to see for professional development. And again, we have had teacher surveys that the committee put together and collated. And two themes emerged. One of those themes was that teachers wanted more choice in what they were selecting for professional development, and they wanted continuity. Because we've had so little mandated time until this contract for PD, we usually have a day, and then kind of the days people want to come to different things, it's on a voluntary basis. But now we have more mandated time. So again, with the committee taking the survey, the teachers identified 3 main areas that they would like our PD to focus on. One of those areas is special education, a second is at-risk students, and a third is social emotional learning. Our workshops tomorrow will focus on these topics, and we're going to rotate all the teachers, K through 12, through a workshop each on each of these topics. The goal is that they will, after tomorrow, select one of the themes to follow through with for the remainder of the school year. So we'll have that continuity to the professional development that, you know, basically follows the teacher's interest through the school year. Again, planning for this day, it's been a lot of effort, a lot of commitment. We've asked teachers to step up, and our teachers are actually, we're really excited tomorrow. It's really, you know, it's been a lot of work and sometimes a lot of details, but we're very excited because our teachers are going to deliver those workshops tomorrow to their peers. And so that's very, very exciting for us, and they've been very committed to that process. I'm going to turn this over to Rocco because he has been so instrumental. He's there every step of the way with Diana, myself, and Bernadette. And all the administrators, I want to say this too, all the administrators have stepped up. They are assisting in presenting these workshops. While the teachers, we've given them some compensation, the administrators have been doing this on their own time, and it's been a lot of extra work. So I thank them, I thank our teachers, I thank our secretaries who also have been attending to the details. I know that Jeannie Gliona and Michelle Bissell went around putting up signs for tomorrow so all the teachers will know where to go. And again, I'm going to turn it over to Rocco because he's the linchpin to all this. Thank you. And his family's watching him on TV.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Rocco Grover Silvestri. I'm the assistant principal at the Brooks, and in a way, a de facto chairperson of the professional development committee. So if I could, I would have to start by saying that this was not just me. We came to this point because of the composition of the group. The way that we worked together from the beginning, it was, really what led us to this point. Questions, or if you'd like, I could expand further. But
Ms. Kretz?
I'm very interested in the topics that you selected. They sound I'm very interested in hearing about it. It just sounds wonderful. Everything, including like working with at-risk students, identification, intervention, safer spaces, positive attitudes. This is, similar to what we had in my work, where the police department came in to just talk about safe space, walking in safe areas. Just very interesting. It's very similar to just something I recently went to myself. It sounds great. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome to drop by.
I know, it sounds like.
And basically what we did is the teachers selected these themes. The professional development committee based on the surveys. And so, again, the teachers had a hand in what they wanted to hear more about. And then what we did is we had one big meeting, and we divided them into elementary, middle, and high school. So there'll be an elementary workshop on social emotional, a middle school workshop, and we're rotating the teachers through in high school. And again, people pretty much came up with their own topics within these main topics. And so you have, one of the subsequent handouts, some of the names of some of the workshops. So we're quite excited, and it'd be a great day, and everybody, it was really a coming together of everyone that made this possible. So we're kind of excited. But Rocco's not excited.
Well, a little, if I could, a little background. We poured over a lot of research, and we sought to build something from the ground up to look at what were the elements of the most effective, sustainable, impactful professional development models out there. And one of the elements that became one of the core elements that we distilled from the literature was that it was teacher-led, teacher-driven. And so that was the impetus for distributing or administering this survey, which we were proud to say we got a significant majority of staff to respond back. And these three topics were the three most responded to. And so again, it fits into that mold that we wanted to create, and having this be relevant to what teachers actually wanted.
Thank you. Ms. Vanderploeg?
So we have a lot of expertise just with our own teachers. So the teachers really stepped up. They had administrators maybe doing some of the copying for them, but that's okay. We all worked together. It was a team effort, I believe, and I think that teachers and administrators are going to get more out of it because we're such a collaborative unit on this.
Very good. Ms. Vanderploeg?
Hi, a couple of different things. First of all, it looks like it's going to be an interesting and exciting program. And as you guys know, I just attended the school committee conference down at the Cape this past couple of days last week, and it was all centered on social and emotional learning. One of the truly exceptional parts that we heard about was from a woman who made just an incredible presentation, and I would like to tell my colleagues more about it at a different point. However, it looks great. A couple of different things. I am extremely happy to see that there is a workshop for the paraprofessionals. I think that's terrific. As I read the letter that was put out to faculty, and I realized that this had been something that I had caught at one point and then forgot about it, but it would seem to me that next year I would like that rather than teachers having to bring their own bag lunch, that we could supply, the Medford Public Schools could supply lunch for our teachers as a thank you, because somehow or another it strikes me when we're doing a day of professional development for our valued teachers that the least we could do is to say, hey, lunch is on us. So if I could put it in the form of a motion that next year at a professional development day, or if it comes later this day, that the Medford Public Schools would provide lunch for our teachers, I just think it would be a wonderful thing. So if I make that motion.
On the motions, offered by Ms. Vanderploeg, seconded by Mr. Scarry and Ms. Cunyo. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes.
So write it down. Okay? Sorry we couldn't do it this year, but at least next year it should happen.
Thank you very much, and good luck tomorrow. I hope it works out.
Thank you.
And it's a beautiful day for you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Motion to receive this report and place on file. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Report on college fair. Mr. Superintendent.
Madam Mayor and members of the committee, the college fair was held on October 26th. There were 88 different colleges and institutions represented. The place was packed. A lot of people participated. A lot of work goes into it. This has been going on for many, many years, and it's really critical that our young people get a good start to find out what their options are, to talk to the different representatives about financial aid, what they can do to move forward. There was also a presentation by Jan Hollenbeck and Charlotte Hyam with regard to special needs students who would like to go to higher education and accommodation plans and how to access those as well. Alice Beth Fitzpatrick from the VOC Guidance Department did a piece on transition to college. And there's a lot of, other pieces that go into it besides just simply the booths. And I think it's one of the most successful nights we run because people really participate, they really learn a lot, and they come away with a better sense of what they have to do to prepare for college. College is not cheap, so you got to make the right decisions, things that are going to work for you, and you got to plan well ahead. So I think this is a great night. It was another good example of our people at work, and Amelia and her staff did a great job.
Very good. Ms. Cunyo, on this paper?
Yes, please. I just want to say thank you to everyone who does participate in this. I know that there's a lot of work behind this, and each and every year it just seems like it gets more successful each and every year, and it does take a lot of work for everyone to do this. I guess one of the things that I never asked, but I guess I'm curious in knowing is if there's a way next year when we put it on is as kids are walking in, maybe have a list of what school they go to, what year they're in, because I know that it is open to all schools. It's not just Medford High School students. So I'm curious in knowing what other schools do attend our college night. Just a curiosity, because I know a lot of the parochial schools, and I know like children that are going to charter schools also come to that college fair.
I know there are people other than our own students who come. So.
Exactly.
Okay. Well,
So
we can
thank
do
you.
that.
And even our own students, just to know what, I don't need names, I just want to know what year they're in and what schools they go to.
Okay. We'll try that.
On the motion, seconded by Mr. Scarry. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. And motion to receive and place on file this report, offered by Ms. Cunyo, seconded by Mr. Scarry. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Report on TB forum and testing session.
So we gave a previous report on this, and I just want to get to the follow-up. Tony Vento was here. She did a great job getting this in place. You have the report in front of you, so we don't have to go in great detail, but it was successful in getting most of the students and most of the people who were identified. I think there were only 3 people that did not. Tony, come on up. Maybe
7
better.
didn't.
Something of that, a
3
small number.
were absent.
And there may be some follow-ups on that as well. So, but we had a good forum with parents in the auditorium. It wasn't hugely attended, probably 25 people, but people asked a lot of good questions and a lot of good answers came up. So go ahead, Tony.
We did very well with the program and all the follow-up. The day of the testing, we went through about, we tested about almost 200 students. We were collecting skin tests from pediatricians. We drew blood at the high school. The day went off without a hitch. I mean, all the students and faculty returned to their classrooms without incident. I have to acknowledge the work of the high school nurses because they were instrumental in developing a testing schedule, and they had maintained integrity to that testing schedule. We finished ahead of time. They also collected and organized and documented a lot of test results and medical information. So they were really very well appreciated on that day and through this event. Our challenges are just following up with faculty and students who have not either submitted testing or who did not get tested. And we've whittled that down to about 19 people that we are reaching out to either find out if they've been to their primary care physician or if they need to get tested, and we'll facilitate that testing. So that's where we are now. But overall, it was a successful event. We were really pleased it went off without any problems.
When will we get the results from the tests?
A lot of the results have come in. We have taken the responsibility to mailing home any negative results. The Department of Public Health, they will handle anybody who has a positive result and needs further evaluation. So they're dealing with that's a very small number of people.
And I also just want to thank the city nurses as well. I think
Yes.
33
Absolutely.
tests were performed by the city hall nurse.
Yes.
So
And Janet Leahy has come up to the high school to place some tests, so we were very happy to have her be involved with us.
it's truly a collaborative between
It
city
was.
and school and state. So thank you for all
And
your
the
work
city.
that you did on
Thank you.
this important matter. I believe, Ms. Vanderkloot, do you have a question on this paper? I do not. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Motion to
Thank
receive
you.
and place on file. Aaron, did you? Mr.
Patient.
Benedetto.
Thank you. I just had a comment because I got a lot of positive feedback about communication, that the school really reached out not only to our school community but to the whole community and kept them informed all along. So do we have any other active cases in our high school,
No.
just so that people can hear that on
No,
camera?
we do not.
That's good. That's what really we need to say out loud, so that way everybody knows where we're at. And,
Right. And this testing will be repeated again in January because it's difficult to know if any results that were determined now were because of exposure to this one student or because of another inadvertent exposure. So it all gets repeated in January, and that we'll take it from there and see where that leads.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor to receive and place on file by Mr. Scurry, seconded by Ms. Cunyo. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Report on MVTHS Advisory Council meeting.
So, Madam Mayor, we're going to call upon our director or principal of the vocational school to update us on this report.
Thank you, Mayor Burke and Superintendent Belson, District Committee. On October 25th, 2016, Medford Technical High School hosted their annual Fall Advisory Board meeting for each of the 20 career and technical education programs. With over 150 members in attendance, the intention of this meeting was to bring industry and education together in one forum. Held each fall and spring, the advisory boards play a significant role in the curriculum, development, and equipment necessary to train the students for jobs in the current and future workforce. Mara Russell from the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education was in attendance to approve the Programming and Web Development program. She was impressed by the number of professionals that came, the space provided for the new program, and the work that has been done to improve existing programs and increase career and technical opportunities for students of Medford. In addition to this, Medford Vocational Technical High School would also like to seek approval to attend the Fall State Leaderships in November, which is an overnight event held each year. This would be our 4th year going to this event. It is held in Marlborough, Massachusetts. There are 4 students and 1 advisor in attendance.
On the motion that the school committee approve sending the students to the conference in Marlborough. When is
Take a
it?
roll call.
I know. When is it?
It's November 20th, 21st, and 22nd.
Cars are made of plastic these days, and I think that would really be beneficial for the students.
We find out in the next 2 weeks if we're awarded an auto collision repair national grant. It's
Great.
a makeover grant, so I'll let you know if we need additional funds, but if we do receive that, it would be one of the items that's purchased.
Great, excellent, thank you.
Very good. On the motion that we approve the students' attendance in the next few weeks, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Cunyo? Yes. Mr. Benedetto? Yes. Ms. Kretz? Yes. Ms. Mustone? Mr. Scarry, yes. Ms. Vanderklut? Yes. Mayor Burke?
Yes, 7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The motion passes. Good luck out there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we go into potentially executive session for negotiations and legal matters, I just wanted to make an announcement that obviously tomorrow is election day. So please, if you didn't have an opportunity to early vote, the city hit 20% in our early voting cycle, so we're really proud of that number. The city clerk's office and the registrar's office worked really, really hard over the past couple of weeks, and a lot of people participated. But if you didn't, please get out there tomorrow. We have a report in here on the mock presidential debate that the students at Medford High School had. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend this year. I did go for their primary mock debate, but it's interesting on the questions. I won't read who they voted for in the presidential race, but the question 1 was a no, 137 votes to 66. Question 2 was a no, 169 to 37 votes. Question 3, a no, 78 to 24. And question 4 was a yes, 150, 70 in the affirmative. So very interesting results, and we'll see how they play out tomorrow. Ms. Vanderklut.
Madam Mayor, myself and school committee member Kathy Kretz were able to attend the wonderful mock presidential debate, and it was so much fun, and our students just did such a great job. They did a particularly good job in really trying to develop really some understanding of what the candidates were putting forth for policy, which, as we all know, has sometimes been difficult this year. So anyway, it was just knock your socks off great.
Not only the issues, but the persona of the candidates.
Well, the personas were just stunning. But in the same handout, I just want to bring attention that the media students at MHS have developed a special video which takes a stand against domestic violence, and because October was Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Mr. Jack Dempsey, the media teacher, submitted a copy to the video to the MIAA, and though we didn't win this year, but remember we won last year, so someone else has to have a turn. They were so impressed with it, and that it's going to be used, be presented for their Wellness Educators Workshop being held on December 5th. Prior to the meeting tonight, I took a minute to go online and take a look at it. It is just great, and it was really, you just really pulled at you emotionally, and it's simple, it's direct, it's just wonderful. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that and congratulated the students and Mr. Dempsey for their work.
And it sounds like our Attorney General is going to link it up with her site as well. So kudos to the kids on that accomplishment. Great video. And Ms. Kretz, you're blinking. Did you wish to?
I just wanted to say it was a great job at the debate, and it was really fun. The same thing that Paulette said was the students did a great job. It was entertaining, it was informative, it was real life. It was really fun. I'm so glad I could make it.
Ms. Cunyo.
I just wanted to say congratulations to the students, that not only the students, but the video that Ms. Vanderklut was just talking about, the Just Say No video, is really well done. It was done professionally. It was done with heart and soul. I was able to see it, and I was able to actually share it with a lot of people. And if you haven't seen it, to really take that moment to look it up. It'll not only impress you by what the message is all about, but also impress you of who our kids are and the high school students that we are developing, and the community part of that too, because it's not just students, but it's everyone, from administration to teachers to our custodians to police officers. It's really a community video, and I was very, very impressed by that. Second of all, I do want to say, since you did bring up the voting for tomorrow, I want to say thank you to my colleague Paulette Vanderklut, who's really been going around advocating for just for question 2, and hopefully people will vote no on that. I have to say that I would be really remiss if I don't say it, because it's just really frustrated me a lot, and that is listening to our governor's commercial. As a parent, as a school committee member, I have to say, when...
We're close to a line here.
Okay. I just
Speaking about a
feel that
question,
if
so-
someone
I know.
in that position comes out and says, you know, this is a different choice if your district is failing, I just have to say, whether it's political or not, shame on the person who's saying that, because under that person's watch, not one district should be failing.
We're crossing the line.
I know, but it's very important.
Thank you, Ms. Cunyo. Mr. Benedetto?
Changing the subject.
Thank you.
I got a call this afternoon, and I just wanted to bring it forward because the gentleman on the phone thought it was important to bring forward. He had heard that other communities give children time to pray at school throughout the school day, and asked if we were in any way doing that in any of our schools.
Time to
Right.
pray.
No, we don't do that. I mean, if people want to take a little quiet time and meditate, they can, and, you know, but we don't ask anyone to pray. We don't make
No,
specific...
not us asking, but allowing children time to pray during school.
Beginning of the school day, if a youngster wants to put his head down and do something, that's fine. I mean, you know, but I don't think, there's nothing formal from us.
That's good, because this person was concerned of keeping state and church things separate.
No, we don't-
And just wanted it to be on the record this evening, and I would express that I would ask you the question so he could publicly see that.
No problem.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Item 7, negotiations and legal matters. Is there a motion to go into executive session? Offered by Ms. Vanderklut, seconded by Mr. Scarry. Roll call vote, please. Yes, 7 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. We will now enter executive session. We will adjourn from that. We'll come out of executive session briefly and adjourn.